Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Like in post.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this has been Podcast Talk with
Yeah.
Tom, Dave, and Shawn. Tune in next week for more talk about podcasting.
To see how the sausage is made. That podcast sausage.
Also, tune into Sausage Cast, where we literally talk to you about how sausage is made.
We just make sausage for 45 minutes a week.
That sounds wonderful.
I would listen to that show.
I would
Yeah.
too.
Making sausage and just like talking about like life
Yeah.
while they're making sausage.
But you'd have to have a mic really close to their hands so you could get
Yeah,
like that.
you'd
Oh, yeah, you'd want to
you'd
hear
need
it.
to hear those sausage noises.
Yeah,
You're going to get all
Squeak.
kinds of
Sausage
perverts,
noise.
but
Oh, you'd get all kinds of perverts no matter what you do, man. Welcome
That's a
to
good
the
point. I think of that-
modern day.
I think of that all the time. Like, I wonder what fucking perverts are listening to our podcast, just jerking it. Just going
Yep.
to town.
I hope
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
wailing on them.
God, I hope all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Kind of like I want to bring that kind of joy.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a compliment. It's just like three random
Kinda.
dudes. It's got
Yeah.
there's someone out
Yeah.
there going like, "Yes,
I'm kind of-
finally movie talk."
Right. I feel like I'm flattering myself by picturing that. But it's just statistics. It's like, statistically speaking, someone's got to be out there jerking it. Right? To everything?
Everyone is probably out there jerking it
Right.
would
at
assume
all
so.
times.
Right. Okay. Well, I feel like the podcast has begun, right, Tom?
Right, we're going. All right.
Yeah, I'm not cutting this.
No, don't leave all that in.
Welcome to
All right.
Hypecast.
The Hypecast.
Welcome. You
Show where we
do
get
the
hyped
intro.
about stuff and things, and also sausage and people masturbating. I'm your
Yeah.
co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm the other one, David Bell.
I'm not a co-host, Shawn DePasquale. Hello.
Hello.
I am, I guess, a guest.
You
You're
are
the
a
guest.
guest.
You're the guest.
Oh, I am a guest.
Welcome.
Also, I am a guest.
Yes.
I'm
At all
not
of
a
the jerking
hostage.
off talk.
I am here voluntarily, they told me to say.
I'm not Britney Spears up in here. I don't know if you guys have been following that story.
Too soon. Too
No.
soon. Too soon.
What is this a whole fucking thing?
There's a
too?
theory that she's being held against her will. It's kind of like the Richard Simmons one.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like in Vegas? Didn't she have her residency?
Yeah, but apparently her father forced her to take that residency so that she could make money, and she's like not really in any position to be doing anything. It's a whole
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I hope it's not true for her sake.
Yeah.
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 Because, yeah, like, reluctantly having a Vegas residency is like the weirdest type of
That's
hell.
That's like
They
the
would
most
be-
exhausting kidnapping.
Yeah, that's awful.
Like, God, I got to do this for how many weeks?
Yeah. Jesus. All
Anyway,
right.
let's
You wanna
get
get
on to the
into trailers?
Yeah, let's stop talking about that.
Yeah, let's talk about something even more, or maybe more of a bummer, depending on your views. It is the Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker trailer. This dropped right when we had our last Hypecast. Like, we put
Right,
it out,
Star
and
Wars
it came out that day, so we haven't.
Of course, that always happens. That's the problem with releasing on a Friday is that we always kind of miss the stuff that gets dropped over the weekend.
Right.
Are you guys fans of the last movie?
More than the
No.
one before it.
Okay, so yes for you, Tom. You did not like it.
No, I don't like it, but I have long since resigned to the fact that this new trilogy and this new slate of Star Wars movies is not for me.
Interesting.
It's not.
See,
It's not being made for me. It's being made to like make a whole new generation of people Star Wars fans, and that's fine. I don't like it. I think it's very. Like, I think the last one was better than the J.J. Abrams one.
Yeah.
Because Rian Johnson actually, does things
Yeah.
in a movie.
Yeah.
But I think the whole endeavor, like the past 4 years of Disney Star Wars movies that we've seen, culminating in this one, which just retcons, or is from the trailer seems to be threatening to retcon a lot of stuff that happened in the last movie.
Yeah.
It's like the most cynical expression of movie like this is the most cynical example of the Hollywood machine I can think of, next to Disney's The Lion King movie.
Well, I will say if it does what it seems to be hinting that it's going to do, which is retcon everything, I will fully agree and be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Force Awakens.
Right.
I thought it was like, oh, what a fun romp through my memories of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And hey, I like these new characters. They're fun. They seem interesting enough. Ryan Johnson's movie I thought was subversive and brilliant on so many levels, and I know I'm in the minority there, and I have I fought with everyone from Mac to my closest friends. Everyone thinks I'm wrong.
Really?
I thought it was the best. I loved it. I loved every part of it. I loved how many middle fingers Rian Johnson held up throughout that movie to like everything that had come before, and I was like, cool, that's what it actually almost justified the nostalgia of the first movie to me, because it was like, here, get comfortable, remember all the things you like, now we're chucking it all out the window and we're giving you all new shit.
It would be great if they used Star Wars to comment on nostalgia. That's the perfect movie series, and I do feel like Rian Johnson did that
a little bit. Like I would like the movie more if the middle chunk of it weren't so goddamn boring. Like the casino planet is crap, and the fact that, like you pointed out, we have all these interesting characters, but like in the second movie they just sort of give up on several of them. Like they just have Oscar Isaac is trapped in the slowest chase ever, just like shouting on a spaceship. Like they couldn't figure out what to do with his character, I guess.
Yeah.
And and then they just sort of they kill off Brienne of Tarth. It's just,
I think the sorry.
Sorry. I just my only comment is like it's confounding to me that like they either play it so safe with these movies like the Force Awakens, where it's just like a nostalgia trip, or they make confusing decisions like the middle hour of The Last Jedi, where it's like we don't know what to do with this property. It's like, how do you not know what to do with Star Wars?
Well, I think the biggest issue with it that I think transcends opinions on like the story or the direction that the certain movies went. I think the biggest issue is on a technical level, which is that, and I've like read on about this, like they don't have anybody overseeing all three movies. Nope. They're not sure what they're doing.
Right.
And that it's weird how many movies do that. Like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the second two were like written on set. Yeah. And it's like, you're spending a lot of money making this. Like, make the script good,
maybe
right?
You should know what the movie is.
Yeah,
So yeah.
But that's the one part of JJ coming back that I'm happy about, is because I feel like he definitely put effort into that first movie with an ending in mind. Right. And so like bringing him back to like close it out is great, but what I don't want him to do, like I don't think it's playing fair. It's like, if he comes back in and undoes and retcons everything that was done, it's like, hey man, you left for a little bit. Now it's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like that story
you went
game
to
where
do
it's like
something else.
Yeah, I start a story, you pick it up. Tom's got to finish it, but he doesn't get to retcon it. You have to just pick up the pieces and you keep moving forward.
And he wasn't even going to be the final director. It was going to be Colin Trevorrow. Yeah. So like that's the
cynicism part for me, where they're just like, we're gonna. It's a whole new trilogy, but it's like they didn't have a story. They're making it up as they go. It's like, guys, maybe figure out what the fucking movies are before you start making them.
And that's not hard. Like, if they were just like, hey, can people start pitching us Star Wars trilogies and we'll pick the one that works. Like, they could have started there. That's what's weird, is that the idea of like, we're gonna do another Star Wars trilogy just for the sake of it and we'll figure out the story later. It's not only a little cynical, but it seems like really easy to avoid. Like, there's tons of people out there who are willing to write a Star Wars trilogy.
I have very little inside knowledge of the Lucasfilm world, but from what I have learned, it's not. I have a hard time believing they didn't have a plan. I have a friend who was in the running to write basically what Tom just described, which was a pitch for a new series, right? For a new Star Wars series, like post all of this shit, post the like what is Star Wars going to be next? And they had a bunch of different writers come in. They picked novelists and comic writers and screenwriters, and a bunch of different people come in and pitch various ideas. And, they were pitching full, like, beginning, middle, and end. Like, this was going to be 6 books, 2 video games, a cartoon, and 3 movies. With all of everything already all laid out. Now, I don't know if that's them learning from mistakes and going like, hey, we better do it this way for the next time. Or if maybe there is some, what do they call like their the story group? Maybe there is some story group document somewhere for this new trilogy, and they're just, not. They're only roughly working off of it.
It's possible that it was like J.J. Abrams came in and then they were like, no, change this, and this. And it's like, well, it's all falling apart now. And then he moved on to something else.
Right.
And and that's the thing. Like J.J. Abrams is a good director. And
he's okay.
Fine.
Like
I mean, he's a pretty, like he's middle of the road, I guess, but he's like, he gets the job done.
He's like a Richard Donner.
Yeah, exactly. And so getting him to like, oh, here, make a Star Wars trilogy. In theory, I'm all for that. And honestly, my feelings is I didn't actually grow up with Star Wars. It wasn't something that I watched until later in my life.
Really?
So for me, this is all just sort of fun. Like,
Yeah.
The
You have
thing,
no skin in the game.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I grew up with it, but I don't hold on to things like that. So I'm just like, cool, well, whatever.
I guess, the thing that has bothered me is on a film critic level where it's like, why can't you just get the fundamental narrative down with this trilogy?
Why can't we figure out a story and then make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hold any, like, for me, it's like I'm at the age where I have settled into a position in life where like I'm either entertained or I'm not.
Right.
I've like gone beyond being critical even at this point. I just like, if I'm entertained, then I liked it, and if I was bored or got distracted or started checking my phone, then it wasn't good. Like
you've transcended criticism.
I really have.
I've become a being of light.
I've gotten to a point where I'll talk to like friends who get real, I have one friend who gets like this fucking thing, they ruined it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, I was entertained. That's how I feel about all the Star Wars movies. I'm either in it or like the Force Awakens and whatever the last one was,
Last Jedi.
Entertained. Solo, I fell asleep in the middle of.
That's
Solo,
not great.
I didn't.
That's not a dazzling endorsement of Solo.
Nope. So I'm like, not a good movie.
Yeah.
Fell asleep in the middle of it. I also never made it through a single Lord of the Rings movie without falling asleep.
Oh, wow.
So in my opinion, not for me. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Just not for me. Puts me to bed. What was the one where they like rob the Death Star plans?
Rogue One.
Rogue One?
Fun.
Yeah, Rogue
good
One.
time. A little boring.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. It was a little. I found none of the characters interesting.
Oh, I couldn't remember a single character.
Well,
Yeah.
There's the problem.
Not a one. But when I was experiencing it, I liked it.
Right.
So, like, would I say it's a great movie? No, because, like, I obviously walked away with carrying nothing of it. But the moment, the 2 hours I spent watching it, I was entertained.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I get where you're coming from because, I mean, me and Tom we just watched, which every week we watch a movie, whether or not we want to watch the movie.
Right.
It's painful.
And there are some movies, though, like I think of Rampage, the Rock.
Yeah.
That's a movie that I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Never going to see it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that, where it's like, there's certain ones that is just, it's very middle of the road, where it's like, yeah, I didn't want to die while watching
Exactly.
it.
I didn't pass out. I didn't walk away. I didn't shut it off.
Yeah.
So I guess it's better than any of those things.
Which is a low bar, but I get it. Because movies are, at their core, entertainment.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it's like, if you're doing that.
And disposable. Like, we're the ones that decided that great movies are the ones that you can watch a million times over and over ad nauseum. I don't know that, anyone creates. I have never, as a writer myself, when I write, comics or whatever, I don't go like, oh, I hope I'm writing something that someone's going to read a million times and pick to death. I just am like, I hope someone reads it once and that they really like it. That's
true. That's an interesting point to make. It's that it's sort of the only medium of art that we have where it's like we have an expectation that we should be able to just experience it over and over and over again. Like the home video market was something they initially didn't anticipate when making films.
No, I mean, most people, when you go to a modern art museum or even a fine art museum and you look at a piece of art, you don't go like, I'm going to take a picture and look at it on my phone every day forever. You go like, oh, beautiful. And then you walk away.
Well, that's the thing is we do have, because I have a framed Old Boy poster that I'm looking at right now.
He does.
I haven't watched Old Boy in like a couple years because it's a great movie. Not one I'm going to sit down every night and watch.
No.
Right.
It's the difference between fine art and like a desktop background, where it's like there's some movies that are like the equivalent of desktop backgrounds. For example, I've talked many times about watching The General's Daughter, that movie all the time, and Murder at 1600 all the time.
Yeah.
That's not because they're great movies, but because they pacify me in a way.
Yes.
Which is weird to say about The General's Daughter.
Right. That's not like a that's not a restful movie.
That's not a relaxing film.
It's not a restful
Neither
film.
is Murder at 1600,
Yeah.
for that matter.
The 90s thrillers basically are like so silly to me because they're serious, but they're still in the 90s. So I don't know.
Like The Net.
Yeah, The Net with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, The Net
Sandra Bullock, yes.
The Net is something that I try to watch whenever I'm sick.
Yeah,
It's a great
exactly.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably move on to the next trailer.
probably.
Okay.
We do this all the time. We deviate so
we
much.
Get very far afield.
All right, Wine Country.
Well, hold on. Any final thoughts on Star Wars? I don't want to cut us off.
No.
I hope we get to see a baby Chewbacca.
Oh, that would be delightful.
I would like to see a baby
Chew-baby?
Chewbacca.
with the little.
Yeah.
I can't do baby Chewbacca. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm into baby Chewbacca.
And also, I hope the Porgs are back.
Yeah, the porgs. I remember making jokes of like, "Oh, those porgs are going to get eaten." And
Right,
I was
that
really
was-
happy that Ryan Johnson was like, "Oh yeah, they're going to get eaten."
My happiest moment was making the Cracked Reacts video where I was like, Chewbacca's going to eat those porgs, totally in jest, and then saw the film,
Yeah.
and Chewbacca eats those porgs.
It was so good.
He just eats them.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, let's move on to Wine Country, which I really like this premise.
Sold.
Yeah.
for sure.
Cast, premise, everything.
Yeah.
It's like Lady Sideways.
Yeah.
With a bunch of
or-
SNL cast members.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could also call it Bridesmaids at 50.
Yeah.
Would be another alternative title for this movie. But it looks delightful, and I love all of the women in it, and I'm in.
I
Yeah.
laughed very hard when Maya Rudolph gets the first line of the song and then falls off the piano.
Oh yeah.
Same. I'm a sucker for slapstick.
Well,
Yeah,
It's-
that was one of those things where it's like I know it's coming.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that
matter. It's
style
fucking
of joke
hilarious.
just it's like in the very first episode of Arrested Development where they show you Tobias singing the song from Annie Get Your Gun, and it cuts him off like mid, like he fucks up the song, and then it cuts away like mid lyric. Like that gets me for some reason.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. It looks like a good movie. All of those people together, I don't know what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And the trailer certainly, seems to have all the elements that you need in that kind of movie without getting too silly or
Yeah. It looks
too
delightful.
saccharine.
Yeah,
I never saw Sideways. Is it the same premise as? Because I really like the premise of like a group of friends in wine country, and then they're just progressively getting more hammered
that's
throughout.
Sideways.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a great premise
Yep.
because it's like this classy wine country, and then you forget
It's-
like
yeah,
they're
it's-
just drinking wine the whole time.
drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yep.
And
that's
Thomas Hayden
lovely.
Church cheats on his wife.
Yep. Yep.
I like any premise like of where like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf I love as a movie because it's just two couples slowly getting drunker. And
Yeah.
like that, and it causes a lot of problems. And
Serious,
it's like it's a
lobbing grenades at each other.
yeah, and it's a very fixable problem, which is like just don't get hammered at your dinner party. But I'm so happy I get to watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about Swamp Thing.
I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been okay. So I was like join the internet pile on when I first saw the Titans trailers, and I was like, this looks like garbage. And then I watched Titans.
Apparently
and
Titans
I was like,
is
no
good,
way.
right?
I had a lot of fucking fun watching this show. Like, I'm stoked for a second season. Doom Patrol is bananas.
I've heard it's good.
Oh my God, I adore it. It's like the weirdest fucking show on television. It's so bizarre. They embrace it. So this had me like super, super excited for Swamp Thing, which I felt was like, oh, they're going to treat it just like, because Doom Patrol is so much just Grant Morrison come to life that I was like, oh, great. Swamp Thing's going to be like one part Scott Snyder, one part Alan Moore, one part Charles Soule, like mix all those weird Swamp Things together and like give me like a cool,
I really like the
show.
Scott Snyder Swamp Thing.
Yeah, a lot. But I don't know now. Now I'm so nervous.
Right. For the people listening, the context is the Swamp Thing dropped a teaser, which looks good. It's a good teaser.
Yeah, it's a picture of Swamp Thing.
Yeah. There's nothing much to it. It just zooms into the swamp. But like right as the teaser came out, there was an announcement that they're halting production after shooting 10 of the 13 episodes of the first season.
Well, that could be a good thing for fans, because it could be like Shawn is saying, the show is just so fucking weird that they're not sure if it's going to fly.
Yeah. It could also be like Westworld, where Westworld halted production because they were like, whoa.
Because they don't know what they're doing.
To be honest, because that's what happened. Westworld halted production halfway through to figure out where the story was going. So on one hand, it's like, you should have figured that out. Yeah. That's why we have treatments. On the other hand, good on you for stopping.
Glad you
stopped. On you for being like, whoa, guys.
Well, it could
this
also
is going
be
out of hand.
It could also be. I worked on the first season of American Gods.
Did you?
Yeah, I was in the production office on that show, and
I have started watching American Gods like 3 different times now. Nothing against the show. It's just I'm every time I sit down to watch it, I'm always like, I'm going to watch American Gods, and I'm like, maybe not right now is the best time.
I mean, look, that show has a lot of problems, but that was a show that also stopped at 10 instead of doing the 13 that they were ordered, and that was purely a budgetary. That was just like Brian Fuller spends more money than anyone on his shows, and we got to a point where literally they were like, okay. So what happened on that show actually was they had shot an entire episode that Fuller didn't like. And he was like, I want to throw the whole episode away and I want to reshoot it. And they were like, if you do that, we're not letting you have 13 episodes. You can have 10. And he said, fine. And then they did it. And then I think he then asked for something else, and they ended up only doing 9 episodes because he just sucked up all the budget. So this could be a budget thing. Yeah. It could be creative differences. What didn't ring great to me was, I forget which actress it was, but one of the actresses tweeted out and then deleted, like, oh, this is a mess.
Oh, no.
And so I don't know if that means like the show's a mess or if the showrunners, so I'm very nervous. I was more nervous when that initial thing led to like the false rumor that all of the DCU was being canceled. That made me really upset. I was like, no, a Stargirl and more Titans. And but it seems like that's not happening now. It seems like this is just a Swamp Thing problem. Right. And, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, someone tweeting out this is a mess also implies that they at least feel passionately about it. Like, that's the other thing, is that I think a lot of these ones that go very wrong, like Fantastic Four, the Josh Trank one.
Yeah.
It blows up. Like, the production blows up because I think there's people who are very passionate about a certain thing.
Yeah.
And that I think about there is a way out sometimes. I think about Apocalypse Now being that example of like, this is a movie that defied all odds because this movie was a fucking mess to make. But it made a classic. So sometimes classic and great things can come out of those messes because everybody's very passionate. But other times it can go horribly wrong, and that's the risk they're taking.
I mean, look, I'm still there. I'm gonna watch the whole whatever season they give me. I'm in. I hope. My only concern is I hate starting a show and getting into it and then finding out that I'm never gonna get any more of it. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I'm so nervous about this last season of Preacher because I have really been, after a really rough first season, I actually think that the show I thought Preacher found its footing, and the part that they're at in the show doesn't quite match with where they should be in the comic to be able to end it in 12 episodes. So it's a little nerve-wracking going into that final season for that exact reason.
Right.
Boy, please don't have wasted, 3 years of my time.
Right. Shows shouldn't make us this nervous, but they do.
They shouldn't, but they do.
I shouldn't be like hesitant to get into a show, but I mean that's always right. Like every great success, it's always the same story where it could have been a huge failure, right? So
I know what you mean. I was watching all the Marvel Netflix shows, and as they started lining up against the wall and shooting them one by one, I was on to like Punisher, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should even care about this.
Yep. Which is a bummer because the last
season
of Daredevil was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
It's definitely Disney Plus,
which is so it can have them on
kind of. We should be more mad at them for that.
Yeah, but I'm so excited for Disney Plus.
Yeah, but like. Those were good shows. Jessica Jones
Some of them were.
Yeah. Yeah, well, not all.
I mean, Jessica Jones was real good.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was not. Luke Cage was very hit or miss.
Iron Fist was.
Yeah, Luke Cage kind of last season.
I was really into Jessica Jones and Daredevil. I liked Punisher.
Me too.
I never watched Iron Fist or Defenders, and I hadn't started Luke
Defenders
Cage
was pretty fun because it has that Avengers appeal where you're like, oh, I get to see all these people like hanging out with each other.
Sigourney Weaver's the bad guy, right?
Yeah, sort of.
My biggest concern when I finished Defenders was that even because the whole time the Netflix shows were going, I was like, you know what? All they got to do is just make each one of these like 8 episodes, and these seasons would be like brilliant.
Yeah,
because they all have that lull.
Yeah.
And then Defenders came out, and it was only 8 episodes, and I thought, here we go. It's going to be go go go. And then like,
oh, they got my letters.
And then like even in that scenario, there was like 3 episodes in the middle, and I was like, Jesus fuck, just go move the story.
Is there an episode where they just sat around eating Chinese food?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. There sure is. They eat Chinese food the whole episode, and then it ends with a confrontation, and then the next episode has like a 5-minute fight in the Chinese restaurant, and then they're somewhere talking again.
Right. Yeah,
it's bad budgeting.
It's not that memorable. Yeah,
it's bad budgeting.
Yeah.
It's like if you know you only have so much money, don't fill in time with dialogue. Like shorten what you're doing, shorten your run, and give me the action where it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Is that a from your experience, Shawn, is that a symptom of somebody being like, you have to have X number of episodes, or is that a budget thing where they're like, well, we got to stretch this? But actually, that would be both.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think in the case of the Netflix Marvel stuff, I think 13 was always what they were. I think that's what they had to deliver, and so like, and like. In my experience, when the creator is able to go, hey, we have this much story to tell, is that okay? And the studio goes, yeah, it's always great. It's
right.
The Lost syndrome, right? It's like when they hit a point where they're like, hey, we've run out of steam, and ABC was like, well, just do another season in there.
Do 2 more seasons.
They were like, okay, and then you get like the episode about Jack's tattoo. So yeah, I really do think that like studios, and I think they're getting, Netflix at least is getting better about not being that. It's, bring me what you have and we'll produce it. And don't.
Yeah, because like Hill House was only like 8
and
or 9
Russian
episodes,
Doll
right?
also
like
was like 6 or 7, I think. Yeah.
Which is, again, for story, it's better. But for me, sitting at home wanting something to watch all the damn time, it gets very irritating. I wouldn't trade it because then I don't want to get a bunch of. But like, yeah, that's why I'm enjoying the Orville right now, because the Orville, I think the Orville's only like maybe 10 or 13 episodes as well, but they're not. They're doing very Star Trek TNG stuff, which I enjoy on a level of I just want to sit and watch a couple episodes.
When I go back to like catch up on a show that's like a network show that I've missed, and I like open up my Netflix and it says 22, like I was trying to catch up on Lucifer, right? And they did a short season 1, and then for some reason a short season 2, and then for some reason season 3 was 22 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's like you can tell that they're just spitting. They're just like, I don't know why they gave us this many episodes. And clearly Fox was like, well, let's just get as much out of them as we can. But like it hurts. I don't, and I end up going on Wikipedia and going like, what episodes do I actually have to watch to get the story? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
I love that stupid goddamn
I fucking
show.
love that show, right? Why do we love that show?
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
It's dumb, but it's so entertaining.
I can't believe how that show is.
Right? It's like a parody.
I watched the first 2 episodes because everybody's talking about it, and it was this moment of like, wait, so he solves crimes?
Yep.
Like
He sure
he solves
does,
crimes
Dave.
all the time. He loves it.
what the fuck?
And he does the same, like 3 seasons in, he literally, I mean, credit to him, but he just like, he does the same thing every episode. He delivers the lines the same way, you know, like, tell me what is your desire. He does it the same inflection, the same tone. It's almost like the old He-Mans where they're just reusing the same footage over and over again.
Right. I have a fundamental question about that show, and I might have asked it already on Hypecast, but what's the first episode? His friend gets shot, and he's like gonna solve her crime, and that's what it sparks him to want to solve crimes and murders and stuff. Why does he care? Because he knows where she is, right?
Look, man,
like when someone dies, he knows that they go to either heaven or hell. Already. Okay, we did
on a Hypecast.
Okay, 'cause this is the fundamental thing that I still didn't understand. And I'm sure I compared it to I, Frankenstein, where in I, Frankenstein, the angels keep getting killed and ascending.
You did.
And
yeah,
then they're like,
That's
no. And it's like, why are you angry? They just went to heaven.
First of all, he hates heaven. So if he perceives someone has died and gone to a place that he hates, I think he's angered by it.
Right.
He also knows that hell is a terrible place. Like he knows what hell is, and he knows it's about punishment. So he's conflicted. Also, he just keeps solving crimes because he likes that hot lady cop. I mean, that's the reality is he just wants to be around the hot lady cop.
He can't manipulate her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's something.
Which
we still don't know what.
We still don't know what?
Yeah. No, 3 seasons in, and we still don't know what she is. We just know when he's around her, his powers don't work, and he's like he can be heard, and
they're gonna have to give an answer to that.
I would assume that this truncated 4th Netflix season will give a lot of answers.
Okay.
But we'll find out, I guess.
We should chug forward to another TV show.
Yeah.
That's related to superheroes. The Boys.
Yeah, speaking of Preacher.
Yeah.
Did you guys read the comic?
I've read some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just nervous that this is going to be the most horrific show
right. To
watch.
I don't like this comic.
No, it makes me feel dirty.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Well,
do you know the comic at all?
No,
Bells?
but the trailer did kind of irritate me.
So the premise of the comic, there's two things going on. On the one hand, you've got this guy Huey who is in a park with his girlfriend, and some superhero fight comes through, and she gets murdered, like just as like they just like
collateral
fall
damage.
into her. Yeah, collateral damage. Thank you. And so he gets recruited by this group of like assholes who hate superheroes, and they're like, "We're just gonna go kick superhero asses."
Okay.
Well, they're hired by the government, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe they are.
They're police for superheroes.
Right.
Basically, they're supposed to keep superpowered people in line.
But then at the same time, concurrently to that, you meet this like young new superheroine who has gotten accepted into the Justice League of this universe.
Okay.
And she gets up to like there's satellite space station, and she has her introduction, and it's all very like cool. You get to be part of the superheroes now. And then like the Superman equivalent basically takes her in a room, and he's like, "Now suck my dick."
Jesus.
No joke. That's what happens. And I'm pretty sure she gets raped. And
Jesus.
Like, Garth Ennis, 90s Garth Ennis was very much like, let me use like sexual violence to like show you how bad a character is.
Right.
That's like his default. And I hope that Rogan and Goldberg are a little more modern in their sensibilities with how they handle some of that stuff, because that whole plot line just becomes like they're gross and they rape people, and like that's how he justifies killing the superheroes, is because they're all gross people.
Right, like the Superman analog is literally insane. Like if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't he eat infants?
Yes, he eats
Jesus.
babies. He picks up babies and
he
eats them.
literally eats babies. Like it is cartoonishly.
Yeah, and it's a commentary
over the
on the
top.
excess that like the rich people can get away with. Just take
Right.
it to an extreme,
sure.
right? I'm Superman. I'm literally an unstoppable god, so I can fuck and fight and do whatever I want. And who's
Yeah, I can do anything. I want.
anything? Yeah.
Right, and that is something worth exploring. Like I know, like Brightburn is kind of doing a version of that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And the idea that power corrupts it's that idea that maybe Lex Luthor is right, because like if a person is given that much power, chances are they won't become a superhero. They would become
They would be corrupted.
kind of a monster or corrupt in some way.
Of course.
Become a super asshole.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this idea of like let's take superheroes and make them more gritty and more R-rated, more realistic. Like I get that. This trailer seemed like it was like really throwing it in my face. Like, it was like check it out.
Yep.
And it was just like like I wouldn't mind like a more dramatic, serious version,
A nuanced
of that. Yeah, a
look
more
at this.
nuanced,
More nuanced.
But the
yeah,
problem
like I
is
don't need it to be. Go ahead, Sean.
If you go more nuanced, then you get, the fans of the comic going, well, that's just not what The Boys was, though.
Right.
He had Garth Ennis has no nuance. That's not his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like somewhere between Alan Moore and
Warren
Mark
Ellis.
Miller.
Yeah,
Mark
or
Millar.
Mark Miller. Yeah. True.
He's like in the like he did a lot of great stuff with the Punisher, but yeah, he's he's not a subtle man.
No, because even his Punisher stuff is like, he chops the arms and legs off of an old lady and then rocket ships her out of blows her up out of a.
Punisher does that?
Yeah. Yeah. Manucci gets her arms and legs chopped off, and then she still survives for a couple issues, and then eventually I think she's blown up in her wheelchair, but like he straps like a rocket to it, and so she comes flying out of her house. He did the same thing in Preacher, by the way. Grandma gets blown up and goes flying through the house as well in a wheelchair.
Punisher's nuts, man. Like the whole read Welcome Back, Frank.
Yeah. or the Barracuda arc.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any of the Punisher Max stuff.
Yeah.
With like I forget the Irish guy's name, but the guy who's like mostly burned. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's not
spacing. Yeah.
It's not important.
It's not really. It's not.
It's just him inflicting crazy violence on people, like the in the Thomas Jane movie. The fight that he has with Kevin Nash, the Russian, that's taken from Welcome Back, Frank.
Almost shot for shot. Yeah. We're just like brutality for brutality's sake.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I don't know, but at the same time, Preacher, what they did with Preacher, the TV show, is they did move away from a lot of, making Tulip a black woman and making her an actual character instead of a victim the whole time was like the biggest step of like, oh, okay, so like Rogan and Goldberg at least get where Ennis's flaws are and like know how to repair it. So, the production value on this Boys trailer looks incredible. It looks, it's certainly a step above The Tick, which I enjoy as a show, but is like not easy to watch.
You can see the seams in The Tick. I love The Tick, but you can tell that they're not giving them much money.
Yep. And I was really worried that this was going to look like that, which wouldn't work for not a comedy, or it was going to look like Powers. I don't know if you guys ever saw the very short-lived Powers series on
I did see Powers, which is another comic series. Actually, I liked Powers. I didn't like The Boys, but I liked Powers.
The comic.
The comic,
Right.
yes.
The show was unwatchable. The production value on that show was like... It was like if we made a superhero show like right now with only what we have.
they had like two decent actors and tried to build a show around that. Like they had Charlton Copley and they had Eddie Izzard as a supervillain, which was interesting. But like they couldn't. It was just like they had no budget, and you could tell.
You guys remember the Amazon Zombieland show when Amazon started doing originals and they forgot to give themselves a budget. Yeah.
Unwatchable.
What happened
We could
there?
make a better Zombieland pilot right now.
They don't.
With a
They have
camcorder.
money.
Unwatchable. And not only was it bad looking, it was like, wait, this is the same guys that wrote the movie?
Yeah.
Did they forget how to write? Like, it
so
wasn't
weird.
funny. It was like the pacing was off. The acting was bad. It looked like it was shot with like a 1980s VHS camcorder.
I remember they couldn't afford to make
was-
it look like the apocalypse. Like I remember they're in the parking lot and there's just like nice cars parked in the parking lot and stuff, and it's like you just went outside the studio.
They went to Burbank
so-
and just shot it.
Yeah. Well, the extra confusing thing about it being so bad was that Zombieland was written as a television pilot.
What's that?
The original Zombieland film was written as a television pilot.
Right. So you
Really?
go, well, guys, why did you
yeah.
forget how to write?
Yeah. It's like, so what the fuck happened? Like, this was your original plan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move us on to
Yeah, we should
real
move on.
quick. Doesn't need to be talked about too much. Beetlejuice the musical.
I love musicals, and
Yeah.
this was kind of a pass for me.
Really?
Yeah,
this-
I don't know.
I like the
Yeah.
production design.
The
a lot
design,
of it.
the production design looks
The
fantastic.
songs look terrible.
terrible.
The songs are bad.
I
Just look
wanna-
at it, the songs are very
I
aggressively
want to take
bad.
so many mushrooms and
It's
see
the
it.
musical. It's the style that they chose. Like they could have done this in any type of musical genre,
Yeah.
and they could have maybe even tried to make it a genre closer to some of the songs you hear. Like Deo, or like
Yeah.
they could have gone with more of like a samba. Like, and
Well, they
instead
got-
it just feels like just generic Broadway musical music.
Yeah.
like there was
It
nothing.
kind
about
of
those
makes me
songs.
wonder, like, why not just do a stage production and don't make it a musical?
Don't make
at
it a
all?
musical, yeah.
And just keep the two musical numbers.
Yeah.
like those were good. They're good in the movie. I love. It's more the most exciting thing about it is doing something that's this surreal and crazy on stage.
Yes.
like the King Kong music. Was it a musical?
King
or
Kong
just
musical,
a play?
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
where
Yeah.
they have a giant fucking gorilla up there,
Yep.
and it's like this is.
They got a huge ass Kong.
Yeah, no, the production design, I mean, when you see like the sandworm and like the floor opens and like all the football players, like I'm not going to go pay $200 for a Broadway ticket to see it, but I'm very curious about the visuals.
Yeah. Yeah, we can take a bunch of mushrooms and sneak in. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm gonna do.
The second act, at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna get arrested. It'll be
So
great.
sad I never got to see that Spider-Man musical.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not. It seemed like dangerous to
Yeah, I
watch.
was gonna say, weren't
Well,
they
yeah, they
losing
literally
people
injured
left
people.
and right?
People died.
I still wanted to see that garbage fight.
It was.
That's like being like, oh, I'm so bummed out I missed the last Faces of Death.
Well, yeah, I'm sad I missed seeing a man die in a Spider-Man costume live on stage.
God, what a way to go!
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
If only.
Yeah,
Who among us doesn't want to die on stage in a
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
costume.
costume?
yeah. At least in the Spider-Man costume.
It's true.
Yeah, give me that.
Okay, we should talk about Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. We should. And your comment...
Yeah, I saw what you said. We've talked about this before. The biggest problem with this trailer isn't the movie; it's the fact that they show the whole fucking movie. They show
They sure do, Dave.
they show them beat Idris Elba.
Yeah. Yep.
Like what the fuck? I get the idea. What Tom's saying in the notes is that like they do this thing now where they make the trailers like show a lot so that like
Right,
the theaters and the merchandising companies and shit.
Yeah,
like
these trailers are not for us. These trailers are for theaters, and these trailers are for merchandising companies.
right, but when sorry,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when you're Hobbs and Shaw, do you really need to
Yeah,
appeal?
that's what I was just going
Right,
to say.
we know what this movie is.
Yeah, and we also know that theaters are going to carry it. It's not
Yeah.
like this is some like indie film that theater owners are going to be like, I don't know if I want this very successful franchise. There seems to be two schools of thoughts right now with trailers in Hollywood. There's the J.J. Abrams mystery box, and
Yeah.
then there's the show you every fucking thing so that you know what you're getting and that you don't feel ripped off at all.
Right.
And there's no in between. Like there's no tease what the plot is, but like still give you enough that you know what's going on. You either get like a couple of words and like flashes of images, and you have no clue what the plot even is going to be,
Right.
Or you get Hobbs and Shaw, where I could probably tell you beat for beat what happens in that movie now.
It's like this is the worst I've ever seen it. Where I thought there's something had gone wrong. Like, I thought this was like a promo or like a special thing that got leaked because it kept going and it didn't have the format really of a trailer. It was more like a montage of the movie.
It's true.
And it was very weird.
Are you guys actually, are you Fast and Furious fans? Are you like excited for this?
I'm pretty moderate about it.
Yeah, me too.
It's sort of become a parody of itself at this point. And it has that I instinctively stay like revolt against if something's just like, look how awesome this is. And it's like, okay, but like there's no stakes to the action and the characters don't really have much going for them and there's no real story. So it becomes this thing and it's all like the one thing saving it is that they do a lot of practical effects, at least in the previous ones.
Yeah.
And so for me, when an action film is like, we're going to be an action film and do the stuff on set, then I'll always have a certain level of respect for it.
Same.
But this seems to be getting more CGI heavy.
Yeah.
And it becomes this thing where it's like, well, what the fuck am I even watching this for?
Right.
You know?
I don't know. They're fun. They're superhero movies.
Yeah.
Well, now, especially, I mean, that shot where he puts his arm out the window, grabs the guy off the motorcycle.
That's Captain America.
And then slams him against the wall, but somehow his arm isn't torn off in the process is
yeah.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the scene where he like holds the helicopter with his arm, and I'm like, that was from Winter Soldier.
That was from Winter Soldier also, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but except in Winter Soldier, he has a magic robot arm.
Right. I'm wondering if they take whatever makes Idris Elba Black Superman, as he puts it, which was a great line.
They say he's a genetic super soldier.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering if like The Rock and
they end up taking it.
Yeah, they
like
end
the
up
third
taking
act.
it.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
they probably should. Yeah.
And this is just, we've been calling them superhero films for very long. Like, if this is just dips right into it.
It's just what should happen is they should befriend Idris Elba at the end, like they do Jason Statham, so that he can be in the next Fast and Furious movie as part of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm all right. Again, I don't care that much about the narrative here, but why are they friends with Jason Statham?
Don't know.
He killed their friends.
He killed Han.
Yeah. How is this happening? Is The Rock not friends?
Well, they didn't really like The Rock, though, I thought. When they first meet The Rock, they're like, oh, this asshole. I don't know. It's very hard to follow these films, to be honest. I have a really hard time.
Marvel does a better job, like with Loki, for example. Loki's a character who we never see him interact with, like, Iron Man or Captain America after. So he has this level of redemption, but he's not forgiven by characters.
Right.
And so they could do something like that. But
because he has a connection to Thor, and because Thor is important to Cap and Iron Man, if Thor in like this next movie, let's say, goes like, hey, no, he's my brother, he's cool now, we have to forgive him, at least you can buy like, all right, well, out of respect for Thor, they're gonna like let bygones be bygones.
Right.
There's like gravitas to all of it, and you know, the Fast and Furious movies are just like light nonsense. Yeah,
they are. They have a couple things they do really well that Hollywood should take notes from. One is, I think, again, I don't know about this new one, but the practical effects in the other ones, doing like spectacle effects instead of just doing CGI is sort of good. And also they have an extremely diverse cast, which is just on a business level is a good idea.
Yep. Agreed. Marvel is still super white and super male.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even with their token black guy and their token lady character, it's like it's still super white and super male. We need to do a lot more work for Marvel to come into modern times, it feels like.
They should do a crossover.
They should.
Fast and Furious. That's what we need.
Totally.
That's what America needs. All right, we're on to our final trailer.
I won't talk about this out of principle.
Really?
Yeah, I refuse to even acknowledge that this is a real thing. The fact that the creator of Child's Play has also been like, no, this was stolen from me. The fact that
I didn't know he said that.
He's
shit!
hard against.
They're making their own.
They're making their own TV series. He's so hard against this happening. He was like, this was apparently there was some like licensing lapse, and like in that moment, the studio grabbed it and like went and made this movie. And he's like, what's his name? Don Mancini?
I don't know.
Mancini.
That's just a
he's
big
hard
old
against
bummer.
it, so I'm with him.
Yeah.
It's the Fright Night director, isn't it?
Is it?
Of this.
Oh no, the original Fright Night. Yeah, he did Child's
original,
Play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, damn it. What's his name? I was just looking at him.
Tom Holland.
Holland.
Don Mancini's the writer.
Don Mancini's
Yeah.
the creator, and he's the dude
Yeah.
who I trust most with this property because he's literally written and directed all of these movies,
Right.
except for maybe the very first one.
It's a bummer because they
the
just
first one was Tom
started
Holland.
the introduction of Mark Hamill, and the look of it was making me a little bit like, oh, okay. But it is true. Like, the most baffling thing is, has there ever been a horror reboot that worked?
Evil Dead.
That was a good movie, but I don't think
But it didn't work because we never got another one of them.
we never got
So
another, and it
That's
didn't
true,
really
yeah.
go
Success.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about it. Like like that's a good movie, but if
The Thing.
if I'm
The
like I
Thing's
feel
the only
like
one.
The Thing. Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
Thing's
the 80s?
The original, the 80s. The Thing is the only one.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm more thinking of right now where they're like, hey, let's make a new Friday the 13th, and it's like,
Nope.
Hey, let's make a new Nightmare on Elm Street. No.
Nope.
Hey, let's make a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No. Hey, let's make a new Amityville. No.
They keep trying Texas Chainsaw
yeah.
too.
Hey, let's make a new Suspiria. No.
Nope.
It's just, it's like, what's the point? Like, I liked the new Pet Sematary, but again, I liked the Evil Dead remake, but it's just the overall, like, they're forgettable. They come and go, and then people are just like, well, when it comes time to be like, I want to watch that movie, you're not going to watch the remake. You're probably going to watch the original.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Hollywood it refuses to accept the fact that we have moved beyond like the horror slasher phase of pop culture where like those movies become like you're never gonna have another Nightmare on Elm Street where like it goes from being like this cool horror movie that everybody likes to like people are buying Freddy Krueger pajamas and Freddy Krueger cereal. Like I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. Like I don't think we're there.
I think there's going to be a renaissance and me and Tom have talked about this because we want to write Friday the 13th sequels because you just have to keep treating it like the sequels, where the sequels are ridiculous because they knew they didn't have to be horror anymore.
Right.
And so I don't think we're ever going to
realize that Friday the 13th is a comedy.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to be really scared of Jason anymore. But I think we would invite him into our hearts again.
Yes.
As a comedic character if they just go over the top with it.
Freddy vs. Jason is one of my favorite movies.
It's a
I
delightful film.
I think it's delightful, and like that movie, I think did a really good job of being like, look, we know nothing. This is gonna scare you.
Yeah.
So let's just have fun and like look at some cool kills that we came up with.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Yeah, it's a weird genre because it goes against horror and it kind of goes against comedy, but it's like horror comedy. I don't know. I guess it could be done in a really like I'd love to see, speaking of horror comedy, Edgar Wright do one of these or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, do we want to move on to the news stories?
Yes.
All right, let's jump through these news stories. The Minecraft movie release date was announced. It's a live action, and it's going to be in March of 2022.
We're gonna get right on top of this trend. While
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just
does
silly.
Minecraft have a plot? I've never played Minecraft. What is the?
It does not.
So
I've played the shit out of it.
It's just like a building game, right?
Yeah, it's
so
fun.
How do you make a movie out of that?
I mean, they did it with Legos, so it's possible.
Oh,
there's
right,
the
I guess.
character Steve, I think, is the Minecraft, and they did like the Telltale games. They did like I think a Minecraft.
Yeah, story mode. Yeah.
Story
Okay.
mode. Yeah, and that was very silly. There is technically a plot. Like, there's a way to win the game.
No, okay.
There's an end portal, and you go through it, and you fight the something dragon. Or I played a lot of it, but I don't pay attention to this shit.
Yeah.
And you can fight a dragon, and then
you win.
And then you win, essentially.
And they're doing live action?
Yeah, apparently. I
Weird.
don't fucking.
Oof.
Yeah, it seems like
That's
it's going to
gonna be a thing.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna end up happening.
probably not. Usually when they announce movies that are going to come out in like 6 years,
Yeah.
they don't really happen.
Yeah.
Marvel's the only one that was like, hey, we're announcing a 10-year plan, and they really stuck to it.
Yeah,
They
good,
really
good
stuck
on
to
them.
it.
Okay. AMC is adapting a Stephen King book called Sleeping Beauties into a series. Never heard of this book.
He wrote it with his son.
It just came out. Yeah, it's a new one.
He wrote it with Joe.
The premise is every woman
was it Joe
goes
or
into
Owen?
a cocoon.
Oh, you know what?
I think it's Owen.
Might be Owen. The Black Sheep. No, Joe Hill. Based on a novel by Stephen King and Joe Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, wait. Nope. Sorry, I read too fast. It is Owen King. they were also referencing. They were also referencing Nosferatu in there, which is based on. Yeah, no. So it is. It's Stephen and Owen King.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch the shit out of this. It
all
sounds
women
ridiculous.
Are vampires, right? Isn't that the premise?
It's all women are going into like a cocoon.
Yeah,
like they go into like a weird because that's Sleeping Beauties. That's
right.
the name. Which Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Except for like one special woman. So what I read was basically like, oh, okay, this is going to be like one lady in the cast and a bunch of dudes, and like I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not really going to judge it.
I haven't read
I don't
it
know
yet.
anything about it.
Yeah.
It just sounds ridiculous. But I mean, so does a lot of Stephen King. Like that Under the Dome show, I got to give him props for just doing the Simpsons movie.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is this is kind of visual, but there's some photos of John Travolta on the set of Fred Durst's directed Stalker movie, which just sounds like madness. Like it sounds
right. I remember talking about this a little while ago.
Yeah. That was like a sentence that I didn't think would exist ever.
Well, we had Devin Sawa on the Bunny Ears podcast, and he's in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the third lead of this movie, or like the second lead. But yes, this is his movie.
This is getting crazier.
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. I think he's the stalker, or the guy getting, because he got super jacked.
Who, Devin Sawa?
Yeah.
I assumed John Travolta was, because if you look at the pictures, he looks like a maniac. He's like in a Hawaiian shirt, and he's got like a Caesar haircut.
Yes. Sorry, Devin Sawa plays Hunter Dunbar, a favorite celebrity action hero.
I'm pretty excited about this. This seems again like a fever dream, but like I think of 1 Hour Photo. Like it feels like a 1 Hour Photo thing where it's like John Travolta's trying to kind of reinvent himself a little bit, like playing like a weird creep. And I don't know. Now that I know Devin Sawa's in it, like that's even cooler. So
this movie reminds me of the De Niro movie, The Fan.
The Fan, yeah.
Oh yeah,
De Niro, Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. So to me, this just feels like that. Only instead of with baseball, it's like with actors. You know, right? That was a baseball. I think that was a baseball. I think it was movie.
Baseball. Yeah.
It was baseball. Yeah,
Snipes was a baseball player, and he was like this weirdo obsessed with him. This feels like almost the exact same premise, down to like the fact that I think De Niro looked really weird in that movie and had like a weird haircut.
It's not that like crazy of a premise because it's just a thing that happens a lot.
Yeah.
There's that what's it called? The Intruder, that Dennis Quaid movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of movies, or like The Gift, which not the Sam Raimi one, but the other one.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of that premise where it's just like, here's one creepy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And the whole movie's about them. I will say The Gift was very effective in being
it's a good
horrifying.
movie.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of Old Boy in it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of Old Boy.
Have the right. I mean, Travolta's very hit or miss for me. Sometimes I'm like, damn, that guy's actually pretty good, and sometimes I'm like, man, this guy's a goof.
Yeah.
So I think if he's bringing like, if it's a good performance, then a movie like this could very easily work and be tense and weird. And you watch this kind of movie because you're like, man, how fucked up is this guy gonna get? And so if it delivers on that, it might be good. I don't know. I don't know Fred Durst. I don't know how much I have faith in Fred Durst as the director, but
right.
Maybe this is going to be his calling. Maybe this is going to be the thing.
This is the thing.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Speaking of directors, M. Night Shyamalan said that bad reviews of Glass made him cry.
That's okay. Bad movies make me cry, so we're all even. M. Night.
You made me cry, M. Night.
I'm kind of confused about this because watching Glass, it's very clear that it's not the movie he wanted to make. Like, it's very clear they couldn't get Bruce Willis for most of it.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that he's surprised,
He's so up his own ass. Yeah. I'm not surprised he's surprised. Since Sixth Sense, I get a feel from him that he just thinks everything he does should be loved, and it's
not
good. He's not great.
No, he's not great.
He made like 1 or 2 pretty good movies.
Yeah, I mean I think he still has maybe 1 or 2 okay movies in him, but mainly because he's never going to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you do something enough times, you can't always get it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. All right, final news story. John Cena is possibly going to be in Suicide Squad 2. Didn't they was it Idris Elba that was going to be Deadshot?
Yeah, but now not.
He's in it, but he's not playing Deadshot.
Okay, yeah, there's no Deadshot, I don't think.
What's up?
No, they're just not having him in it.
What's up with James Gunn and casting wrestlers? That's my real question.
I don't know.
He loves
to
cast wrestlers. Like, he loves it. He's like, who can I get in this one? I mean, look, Cena's very funny. So if this is if this is a Drax style comedic role, like, I think it will be great. I don't buy John Cena serious ever at all.
Yeah, I think that's probably where it's going to be.
Look at his face.
Yeah, exactly. Just look at his dumb mug, and you're like, nah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, he was fine in like the Bumblebee movie. He's
sure
like but that it felt like he wasn't utilized correctly in the Bumblebee movie because he is kind of just plays a straight man. Like, he's just like, I'm a serious military guy, and it's like, no, do like a Drax role. Yeah, do something fucking crazy.
Yeah. Pick a real character, give him give him something, give him like a hook, and then let him just like sink his teeth into that and just keep cutting back to him when you need like a light moment, and it's gold. I mean, he's that, I forget what Amy Schumer movie, what was that movie called that he's in? He steals that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think if you give him the right thing, he can be great. I have a lot of faith in James Gunn, though. I don't think he'll make
for sure
shitty. I think Suicide Squad will be good.
I have the opposite feeling about Bautista with John Cena, where after watching him in the new Blade Runner, I'm like, oh, give him more acting roles.
Yeah,
like really test.
Yeah, he's really like there's a recent interview he gave where it's like he really wants to be an actor. Like, he like took acting lessons for like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, he really wants to be like an actor.
And everybody's just trying. Like, you're going to be a tough guy. That's why I appreciated Schwarzenegger and Maggie for that reason too, because Maggie was kind of a boring movie, but it was Schwarzenegger like doing a pretty good job at. I got to watch it again because I don't want to over exaggerate this, but like, he seemed to do a really good job just doing an emotional role in that movie.
Yeah,
and it was another one of those things. Was like, oh shit. Should have we been casting Arnold Schwarzenegger in acting roles this whole time?
Yeah.
What if that was?
Well, he's not. Yeah. Well, it's like when they sort of figured it out when they started putting him in comedies. Like, oh, he's funny. Like, we could put Schwarzenegger in comedies.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for news stories. You guys want to hear about a movie that deserves more hype?
Yeah, and then can we talk about a TV show that I saw that I think maybe deserves more hype?
Oh, what do you want? You have your own deserves more hype?
I have Have you seen Black Summer yet?
No.
On Netflix?
Oh, is this the zombie one?
Yeah.
My sister keeps texting me about that.
It's very good, and I feel like no one's really talking about it. I don't really like zombie stuff anymore. I'm kind of like,
right.
I think
it's kind of played out.
It's all very played out. This show, the framing device of the show, the way the show is structured, the tension that they're able to get, even though it's still hitting all the same zombie tropes. It's like, the zombies are scary, the humans are scarier that you meet along the way, because humanity is fucked regardless of whether there's actual zombies or just like, internally we're all monsters. But the acting is really good. The structure is great. They're 28 minutes long each. I highly recommend it. Black Summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You're the second person because my sister was texting me about it, and it is like zombie stuff gets played out. But every now and then there's something really good.
Yep.
In the genre.
Yeah. That's what this is. It's just, I mean, they're not like breaking any, I can't say like it's the most inventive show of all time. It's just like there's something about the way they structure the episodes and the way that they shoot it.
Right.
And it's interesting and very compelling and, 10,000 times better than The Walking Dead and deserves as much, if not more, of the views and credit than that show gets.
Right on.
Because it's hot garbage.
All right. I'm going to start that one. Everybody watch that. Black Summer, you said?
Black Summer.
Okay. The one that I have for this week is I think it might be getting some hype now because it just the trailer just came out. This is called We Have Always Lived in This Castle.
Yeah.
Its release date is May.
Yep.
This May, the 17th. It is based off a Shirley Jackson novel.
Cool.
Yeah, in fact, her last novel, I believe.
Mm-hmm. One of her more famous ones. It's actually called We Have Always Lived in the Castle.
In the Castle? Did I write it wrong, or did they name it wrong? No, it says that We Have Always Lived in the Castle. My bad.
You wrote it wrong because you're bad.
Yeah, so for people who aren't aware, this is The Haunting of Hill House, the same writer.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has, most importantly, it has Crispin Glover in it.
Yep.
Also Sebastian Stan.
Also Tessia Farmiga, who, if you're a Bates
can
Motel
only
fan.
make horror movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The premise.
She's in American Horror Story, and then she was in The Nun.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And Alexandra Daddario,
Yeah.
who's not bad to look at.
So this is like just sneaking up on us. This show. It's a show.
No,
it's a movie. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
And it looks really good. It's like a murder mystery. It's about the Blackwood family. I never read the book. That like someone mysteriously like poisoned them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
poisons all of them.
Yeah, and this is after that, and the two daughters, and their new cousin shows up, and they seem really creepy and weird. I know one of them's into witchcraft.
Yep.
And there's sort of a mystery around like who actually poisoned the family that left Crispin Glover in a wheelchair, I believe. So yeah, this just looks like
it killed the dad, and the cousin looks exactly like the dad.
Oh, right. That's part of it.
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. This doesn't look necessarily supernatural. It just looks weird and creepy and gothic.
Dave,
is it going to be supernatural, Tom?
I'm gonna tip a little bit of a spoiler for you. It is supernatural.
No. I mean, I love supernatural. That was my biggest disappointment, or the thing I was most scared of, was the idea that this wasn't going to be supernatural. So,
Really, I did not. Watching that trailer, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna have some weird shit in it."
it definitely looks weird. It was just like it didn't like, I don't know. It's not like a ghost story. It doesn't seem. Although I assume the cousin's maybe the ghost of the dad or something crazy like that. It looked like just more of a gothic murder mystery, with like some weird shit in there.
I mean, I'll see anything with Crispin Glover in it.
Yes.
So.
God, yes.
Yep. Remember what was it, Willard?
Song. Oh, Willard.
Yes.
Oh, fuck, I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so bad, but I love that movie.
Yeah, I got to see that one again. That was a great choice, Crispin Glover.
It was a great choice.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this trailer, was seeing him in this trailer, is it seems like Crispin Glover's finally aged into the roles he's always been playing.
Right, he's aged into Crispin Glover.
It's also weird to see him play a role that isn't like just a maniac. Because like even George McFly is a character where I'm like, I'm scared of this man.
George McFly is a weird maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like the kind of guy who in today's in modern world would pick up a gun and go shoot down a school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's and Crispin Glover is like, I'm pretty sure, a maniac in real life, but a glorious one.
Yes.
But I assume that's why he doesn't show up in movies a lot, because he's probably
impossible to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, he seems like kind of calm and like you said, he's like an older, calm man in this. And it's like, this is not the Crispin Glover I'm used to seeing, but
that's why I'm even more intrigued.
Yeah.
And I would almost put money on the fact that he will get weird in this movie.
Oh, he better.
Oh, of course. There's no other reason to have Crispin Glover in your movie unless he's going to be a maniac.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I found out yesterday, the reason he doesn't talk in Charlie's Angels is because he didn't like the script and he refused to say his lines.
Yep.
He took that job, read the script, and went, I'm still going to do it, but I hate these fucking lines. And so his character became mute.
And McG, director, was just like, all right, cool, man.
Hey, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Sure, bro.
I was just thinking about Charlie's Angel. Was Sam Rockwell in one of those?
I think so.
Yes.
I got to revisit those because I remember it was before Sam Rockwell. I think there's only 2, and they're rebooting it right now.
Bummer.
With Kristen Stewart and some other people.
Okay.
And that's sort of my thoughts, but it's like, sure, fuck it. I mean, it looks like it might be like gritty action version, and it's like, yeah, fuck.
Less goofy.
Yeah, which is the direction everything's going in.
Yeah.
Except for the new Shaft, which I'm very excited about.
I'm so excited for this.
I was shocked that movie made it somehow under my radar. I love Shaft.
Yeah.
That movie is one of my favorite movies. I think it is. Talk about rewatchable. That movie has so many weird layers, and like the fact that movie has two bad guys, and like they're both formidable, but also so arch and over the top.
Right.
When Peebles walks down the street stabbing himself in the chest with a mini knife, going like, "You kill my brother!" Like that is. It's brilliant
fantastic.
filmmaking, that whole movie. But I don't know, man. I guess a goofy Shaft is where we're going.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's different than they could have so easily done it gritty.
Well, they did it already, so they're like, all right, now let's lighten it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good direction.
John Singleton's not directing it again, though, right? It's a different guy, I think.
I
so.
don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's Tim's Story.
Yeah. Oh, it is Tim's Story, which is...
Pass.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Out. I'm back out, guys.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know.
What's your favorite Tim Story movie?
It's got to be the second Fantastic Four.
Barbershop.
Yeah, exactly. Point proven.
Yeah.
The second Fantastic Four movie is the most egregious offense.
The one where Stan Lee plays himself.
Yep.
That was, man, what a fucking mess. What a beautiful mess. I still like those better than the gritty one, the Josh Trank.
Yeah, they're both of those movies are more watchable than Josh Trank's movie.
Right, because they're whole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they feel like a full movie. Even bad, but full.
Yep.
Yep.
So anyway, the Castle, go see that when it comes out.
Yeah, The Castle.
Whatever, I forget the fucking name.
A night.
We've always lived in the castle.
We have always lived in the castle.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it for Hypecast. Sean. Yeah.
Wow, what a downer ending. All right, well, I guess we ran out of gas. Goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we ran out of stuff to talk about.
well, that's how it always goes. We hit
That's
the
true.
end. We have a list of things that we're hyped about, or maybe anti-hyped, and we hit the end of the list. I think we got a good positive outlook with.
I think we got a
movies this
good
week.
run here. Yeah, we had a good couple of good batch of stuff.
I'm excited to see a lot of the stuff we talked about, so that's a pretty good
Yeah,
sign, I guess.
I'm not looking at the doc and I'm wrong. Like a lot of this stuff was kind of bittersweet. Wine Country looks great. Like Swamp Thing is like, we don't know, and Star Wars is, and then The Boys, and then Beetlejuice has bad songs, and Hobbs and Shaw spoiled. So I don't know. Sorry, guys.
Bummercast.
I don't know. Welcome to Bummercast. I don't know. We have always lived in the
Fucking
castle.
Bummercast. We get bummed about stuff and things.
No,
I don't
I'm
know.
still hyped up for all of this stuff. Even bad movies are still movies.
That's true.
And in a world without movies, we would all be dead. So,
Yeah.
And
Or
depressed.
read books.
Bored.
Probably.
Yeah, or read books.
You
Oh.
have to read books, which is the same thing as being dead.
That's
Hard
true.
pass.
Even the worst lineup of movies is better than the best books ever. You can quote
Tune
me on
in
that.
next week for Fahrenheit.
Get rid of them
Cast,
all.
where we burn books.
It's too hard. It's too hard reading. It's no good.
Yeah, reading's for losers.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Quoting you. These are all quotes you can
Yep.
use from us. All right, Sean, where can we find you?
In a book. You can find me online at Shawn Wrights on any of the socials. But more importantly than me, because I'm a pretty boring guy, you should follow Bunny Ears Web on Twitter and Bunny Ears Podcast on Instagram, and go to bunnyears.com for pop culture and lifestyle satire and comedy at its absolute best. Brought to you
Yes.
by the kid from Home Alone, who's now an adult.
Yes. It's true.
This is all accurate information.
Yeah.
It's all accurate information. Bunny Ears. Bunny Ears. Listen to the Bunny Ears
Cool.
podcast. And
very good.
If you're in Los Angeles and you want to come out to a live show, we'll have a Bunny Ears podcast on May 13th.
You doing more live shows?
Yep, we're doing it
I
at
gotta go to
Largo
one.
with special guest Nick Kroll.
Oh,
Should
shit.
be really fun.
All right, I'm going to try to go to that one.
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
You're in.
Oh, good.
Just
Yeah,
let me
my folks were in town for the last one, and I couldn't go.
Well, we're
And
also
it's like-
doing one on, I don't know when this comes out, literally on Monday, we're going to do a show at the Saved by the Max in Hollywood. We're doing a live show there, so you're welcome to come out to
All
that
right,
too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Cool. What do we got?
Oh,
You
we
guys
got
have
our
stuff.
Patreon. People know it. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.
Yeah.
And we have T-shirts. TeePublic.com/gamefully
TeePublic.com/stores/gamefully unemployed.
You got it. Tom's got it. Yeah, so check us out. And
do the things. Yeah.
Everybody enjoy their Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, say goodbye, everyone.
We're like 1 week away from Endgame.
Oh,
we are.
Shit.
Talk about being hyped. I can't, my bones feel like they're shaking at all times because I can't wait to just fucking...
Just a constant vibration.
Yes, I just want to see it. Just put it in my... If I could skip
Put
watching
it in
the
my
movie...
veins.
Yes, if I could just shove the film into my ears and have it somehow absorb into my brain, I would do that. I'm so excited to see this movie.
Yes, me too.
I'm sure I'll be let down because I've hyped myself up way too much, but also I won't be let down.
How could it... It's got to be
How could
fun.
it not be exactly what you want?
It's 3 fucking hours. It's going to be great.
Right, there has to be something for everyone somewhere in those 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Galactus at the end? What do you think? Oh, you think a post-credits Galactus tease?
I want more Howard the Duck. I want us to get
I think
Howard the Duck in the mix for more.
Perfectly honest, perfectly serious, I think post-credits Doctor Doom.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love that.
I also think maybe some X-Men stuff because Kevin Feige said, "Oh, we're not going to have X-Men anytime soon," and that just feels like he's just
he literally he went further than that. He was like, "It'll probably be years before we even get to the X-Men," and you're like, "Okay, dude, Disney just spent all this billions of dollars on Fox, and you're putting the toys away for a few years." Yeah, fucking
no. You're not.
Here's the only reason why I think we might not get X-Men teaser in this movie is because Phoenix hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, that's true. They might. Fox might be like, "Come on, guys,
just at least give us this fucking shitty movie that we got coming out." Hey, what happened to New Mutants?
It's getting pushed back to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, New Mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rest in peace,
All right.
Fox.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Rip.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Say
Thanks for coming on.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.